If you ever looked to your music library and thought, well, I love all this music, but how do DJs? They know what goes well with what. This video is for you. You're welcome, my friend. Welcome to the second episode of the series, How to DJ as a Beginner. Whether if you watched the first video or if you just arrived here now on the channel, you're more than welcome, and doesn't matter for now. You can just stay here and chill. Today we're gonna look for the playlist, how you build your playlist, what BPM is, how the different music genres influence the BPM, what is the high, low, and medium frequencies. Let's try to practice our ears, but you know, in a not terrifying way, in a very basic way as a beginner, in a very exciting way. And then more at the end of the video, we go to study a bit of Rekordbox, the software. Even if you don't have the gears, you can start practicing. To then we go to the gears a bit. Just I'm gonna show you the basics where you can already put in your hands in the machines, and it's gonna be very fun. And so stay here with me. Okay, so what is BPM? BPM is beats per minute. You know when you're listening to music and then all of a sudden you feel like counting the times, like if it's a slow pace, if it's a fast pace, it's very easy to do it with your feet. You know when your feet is just like counting the time. This is how you know the BPM. Per example, down-tempo organic music, chill music goes to 70 to 100 BPM. It includes down-tempo, organic, folklorica, chill out, cacao, ritual vibes. As you know, here I play a lot of down-tempo, where the energy is grounded and spacious and more meditative. You know, it's really great for opening an event, you know, for a warm-up, for a sunset or an early evening. And house music goes for 118 to 126 BPM. This is the classic house range. I love 120, is one of my favorite BPMs. Makes me feel very good. It's very groovy, very danceable, very warm, very friendly. It's perfect for bars, for daytime parties, warm-ups, like long flowing, you know. It's to bring the energy up of the crowd. And then techno goes for 125 to 135 BPMs, and this sometimes can go even higher. The energy is very driving, hypnotic, intense, and repetitive, but in a good way, you know. It's more used for peak times, sets in clubs, late night. And techno, they're usually longer sets, like it's more about the consistency than the transition. The songs are much longer than usually in the other music genres. And for example, hip-hop, for you to know, hip-hop goes from 70 to 100 BPM, often feels slower and double-timed. Disco, indie dance goes like 110, 125 BPM. And trance, hard techno goes more than 135. But it's just for you to have an idea, more or less. So how the playlist can support you in this beginning? When you look about the BPMs, it's very nice to try similar BPMs. To be very honest, I met DJs that they would play the entire night the same BPM, you know, or they would be like 1 hour playing around this 120, and then more to the end of the set, depending on how many hours you're playing, then they would start to increase. But like even a very experienced DJs, you know, sometimes they would just use songs that they have the same BPM to make their job a bit easier than having to be doing like the math and like finding the BPM at the moment. And so creating your playlist, in the first class I was saying about created by different music genres. But now that you already make your playlist with the specific types of music, then why not we start to play thinking about the BPM. So you could select your playlists in the genre that you like, but then try to separate the BPMs, you know. So let's make a playlist of the warm-up, so lower BPM, or let's try to make our playlist for more mid-energy playlist, like a stable BPM, more groovy, or more like a peak playlist with a very energetic, with a high BPM. This is gonna help you a lot as well if you have some cards under all your sleeves. For example, if you are in a party, and then if you already have this kind of bit separated, you know very easily when to play that songs, and you can even select the ones that you know that you're gonna have like a good result for specific moments of in the dance floor, you know, because sometimes you can be prepared for a mood, but then you arrive in the party and then your crowd is just going somewhere else, and you need to be prepared for all the moods, to go slower or to go faster if your crowd is asking for that. And a very important thing, okay, if you're playing more organic, more like a band music, you know, what about the BPMs? Well, this is very tough or very easy, because like you don't need to pay attention that much. You just need to listen in a way that they can match, you know, when you are listening to music and then you already feel like, oh, after this one I know that one that's gonna fit very well, because like the harmony match, or like has a specific groove, like an instrument, they are kind of similar, you know, so you can work in that regard. And like what nobody says in such tutorials like that, but it's like many bars, like restaurants, DJs, they can be like full-time DJs working this for so many years, but they're just doing fade in, fade out, and nobody likes to admit that. But I'm telling you, my friend, I'm a different teacher. I'm just being very honest. I do it very often. I see all my DJs colleagues doing this very often. You already saw me doing this here in this channel, and I highly recommend you doing this as well if you need for more like a band organic music. You know, of course you have more other tips with like filters and effects to make it even more smooth. But we are going there soon when I go more deep in the gear. But you know, for you to practice, you can also just try to like experience the fade outs. But like, remember, you are the selector, you're the curator. Your playlist really matters. You know, just to give you some heads up on this. But a very important tip as a beginner as well for electronic music. When you're playing a set, like don't go so fast. For example, if you're working with a 90 BPM and then you go jump for 128, for example, this is gonna affect everybody in the dance floor. I already said this before, but just like feels uncomfortable in your body. So you need to study as well, like before, which songs they work good together, you know. Although of course I don't believe that you need to have a fix like DJ set that you're just gonna play what the sequence that you already study at home when you start playing live. But yeah, you need to know the songs very well and know which the ones that goes that fit well, to don't have this like in a network that like people are going in this direction and then go start faster or slower. I don't know, you need to have like a good sensibility with that. But again, no worries, my darling, you're gonna, by practicing, you're gonna have this feeling. And yeah, what we do is like you create your playlist. So let's say we are like in 90, really like is a graduation, you know, so like 80, 90, 90, 100, 110, like even 105. You can even go like very literally graduation. But yeah, again, never like 80 to 130 would be like a fucking madness. I'm so sorry, the word. Okay, so now let's start talking about the high, the mid, and the low buttons that we can find here. Let's take Buddha in this middle part of the controller. So they are not effects, they're actually the EQ of the equalization of the songs. They let you separate the music into layers and decide which layers you want to people to hear, more or less of. Think of you're not changing the song, you are selecting which part of the song that you want to be in the spotlight. For example, low is the bass, the kick, the subs, is the kick drum, is the bass line, is the sub frequencies, and parts that you feel in your stomachs and in your leg. If you turn the low up, the track feels heavier and is more grounded, it's more physical. If you turn the low down, the track feels lighter, less dominant, less push. And the mid buttons is the body, the groove is the musical content. Here is what leaves the vocals, the synths, the melodies, the chords, the most of the instruments. This is where is the heart of the track. If you turn the mid up, music feels fuller, more emotional content comes forward. And if you turn the mid down, tracks feels distant, like it's moving into the background. Think the mid as a conversation in the song. And then the highs. The highs is the air, is the details. Is what Liv hears, is the hi-hats, the cymbals, the shakers, the sparkle, the brightness. And if you turn the high up, the sound becomes brighter, more open, more energetic. If you turn the high down, sounds become darker, softer, calmer. Think of the high as the light of the room. And okay, why the DJs use the high and the mid and the low when mixing? On DJ mix, they are not just matching the tempo, they are sharing space between two tracks. So instead of everything fighting for attention, what we do, we take one track holds the bass, for example, and another brings the melodies. And both share highs like carefully, This could create flows and not chaos, because also in music production, like if you're putting many instruments that they have the highs in the same, they're just like you cannot listen to no one properly, so you need to be careful with the volumes of each one to really be good in your ears, So if you're practicing at home, I would always say for you to start to keep the low in the income track down and slowly introduce the mid and the high, and when it feels right, gently swap the lows, like do this turn. But we'll get for that later too, but no rush, no tricks, just listening. As well, in the beginning I would just advise you playing on them, like just play one song without trying to mix, and then like put them the highs like up and down, and then it's up and down, and the lows up and down, and just listen the difference, listen what is the difference that makes when you do that, and then you can also play with another song, but as well they don't need to match perfectly, or you can use in the beginning, just use the beat sync just for you to get them in the same length, and then after you can just be playing with the mid and the low, but just like to practice your ear, it's very important. Yeah, so I would just say like avoid the mistake to turning all knobs at the same time. Like EQ is not something that you play, you need to like use them intentionally, and most of the time you need to go like small movements, patience. I think you have seen like many videos of DJs when they are pressing the knobs, they are really like, as they have, it's very hot there, you know. They just touch like this is how careful you need to touch, you know. It's not like, you cannot stay too long there because you're gonna burn your fingers, you know. So you just like play softly around it. And yeah, my friends, so let's go to Rekordbox and to put your songs there and how you can see it in the software. That is an important part. So I use Rekordbox. I have people that use Tractor and other softwares. I got a Pioneer, and that's why I use Rekordbox, because it was a software that, I don't know, was more friendly for for Pioneer when I started, but they are mostly very similar, you know. The main structure is kind of the same. So as you can see here, yeah, so here in the middle, you see what I was talking about. So the low, the mid, and the highs, and the string is another way from like volumes. And here the play and the cue in the same way that you can see on your controller. Okay, so what I do here, when you open the Rekordbox, it looks like this. You're gonna add the performance part here, and then you go to the reproduction list, like the playlists, and then you press to create a new playlist. Okay, once you create, here is a blank space, and then you have BPM and the title of the song, and then the musician, the band's names. And then you go to your whatever place you put your songs, you're gonna select them, and you're just gonna drag them down here. You see now it's starting analysis settings, and then it's already reading the BPMs. And then you press OK, and then Rekordbox is reading all the details of the songs. Okay. And here you have the duration of the song, and here the BPMs, and then here you can see, as I'm working more with down tempo, is all around like 110, 110, 90, like it's just around 90 and 100, and this is the idea. So if you just take the song like this, you can already move them around. So what I would suggest in beginning, you take, for example, night, and then like 106, and then you put them in this graduating way, you know. But of course, listen to the song first, and then the ones that you think that they match kind of together, but try to work with the numbers like that. So here in the playlist area, you can just build lots of playlists with different names, different moods, and then you start from there, okay? So if you press with two buttons in your with your mouse with this touch area, you can also put here the for example, you go to the song, and then you play, you press with two buttons here in your keyboard area, and then you go deck 1. Once you put in the deck 1, it's already going to the same way that you have it with your controller. So when you give play here, it's already on, okay? And then when you go to the other one, then you play those decks, and here is play to the another one. Nice. You see here they have like the separations of the times, and then this is a good guide for you to know this the BPM that we are saying. And here you can see bigger the BPMs as well, And what the exercise I was saying, that if you go here in the middle, yeah, here, even if you don't have a controller, you can already listen to the song with the low down or with the high underneath. Because you see, it's not just a volume, it has other things going on. So I would say for you to start like this. Get your Rekordbox and put your playlist here where you can see the BPMs and start playing with this keyboard, really like putting the song there and putting play here if you don't have the controller yet. Just to start being familiar with Rekordbox, because it's gonna be your buddy for your entire life if you would decide to enter in this world, or Tractor or another software. And yeah, this is the first exercise. Okay, my dear, let's go to the part that we're gonna start exploring the knobs that we have here in your controller. I already connected my controller with a USB-C cable on my MacBook Pro. Easy going. You're just gonna put here in the computer side. This button here in the middle is the one that you select the playlist or you select the songs. So this is the deck 1 and this is the deck 2. Once you go here, you select the song, and then I'm gonna load in the deck 1. Okay, you see there, it went to the deck 1. Here's the volumes. My volumes are down. This is also volume, but I don't use this. This is I will get later for that, but now we're just gonna focus on these volumes, and here always keep in the center. Later I can show you in the Rekordbox how we block this part. But yeah, this is the volumes, this is select the track, this is your load in each deck. And okay, I already loaded my song there, and I play. It's already playing my song. If I want to stop, the same way the play is pause. If I want to come back, I play in the cube. And then, if I want to try to find the beat, this is how we use this part. We're not going to use it now, but it's for you to show. Okay, down the volume. And then the highs, the mids, and the lows. Here's is the FX area, and you just go like to put filters or echoes and whatever has like a huge things. You can set up on your computer, and yeah, you can start having fun. Remember, here you find the song, here you load the song, here are the volumes, here play, pause, cue, and here high, mid, low, FX. Here are the trims. Is also another way for volumes, and also if the pitch, if the song is too high, you can control it here. But it is also another part, Try to keep all in the center. Master level as well, all in the center. We go slowly, guys. Today is just a main view, But for now, load the song. Find the song, load the song in your desk. Play, pause, volumes, explore these things just to train your ears. And yeah. I hope it was not too chaotic, guys, and you could understand about these concepts for your class, for your episode 2. And let me know in the comments if you felt I was forgetting something. But remember just the basic ones. I want you to have fun and I want you to feel confident on this journey. I think DJing is much more than technical things. This is what you do with your heart and with your intention. If you have a good intention, my dear, I know that with practice you're gonna kill it. And yeah, remember to keep spreading love, keep spreading smiles. I see you in the next one. If you like the video, if you like the class, let me know in the comments. Give me a like, follow, and yeah, show to your friends, support the community, support the channel so this information and arrive to more people. And yeah, I love you so much. All my blessings. Bye.